All right, I want to talk to you today about fractional units because I do have quite a few people that bring it up to me. I've done several videos on this before, but it's amazing to me how people, I guess they don't see these videos, and they end up going in and making huge mistakes, buying properties, and I guess they're in a rush most of the time, and they just don't take the time to really understand the difference between fractional units and owning a whole unit of real estate. I'm going to explain the differences to you, and then you can be the decision maker from there of what you want to do. Also, folks, if you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, or how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen. You'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And number 2 is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And again, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. Okay, fractional units. Technically, the way a fractional unit works is they do this on individual apartments, and what they do is they'll split it 50-50. So if you're looking for, remember in St. Kitts too, and I'll tell you about St. Kitts and Nevis on the fractional units and how they work. It used to be where there was a limit that you had to purchase, and it had to be a full unit of 400,000 US. That was the minimum to get citizenship in St. Kitts. If you want to pay more than that, you could do it. All right, what the government did is they made you, if you went and you purchased a unit for 400,000, you had to hold that unit for 5 years before you could resell it. If you tried to resell it before the 5 years are up and you got the citizenship, they would come back and revoke your citizenship. So you could not sell it for 5 years. Now, you can rent it out or live in it or whatever you want. But if you did that, your citizenship would be revoked, okay? I can't imagine anybody doing that, but I did hear somebody that did that one time, which I can't understand that. Maybe he got divorced, I don't know. But anyway, that's what you're going to have to think about. Now, on fractional units, they came out with a law several years back in St. Kitts and Nevis that if you bought a fractional, not a full unit, where you own a fraction of the title, and it could be a fraction of an apartment, like you could have 2 different people buying the same apartment but splitting up the title, and 200,000 each, which would equal 400,000. They would sell it for, and you could get citizenship that way, and you had to hold it for 7 years before you could resell the property, okay? Otherwise, they would revoke your passport if you broke that rule, okay? Now, this is the key though. The fractional units were being spread across the board. In fact, most of the time they were actually on hotels. Like for instance, you have a hotel where you can go in and you can buy a fraction of the whole hotel, which includes the swimming pool. Everything about the hotel is split between X amount of people. Like if the hotel is, $10 million, they could split that up, divide that by 200,000, and the result which you would get would be the number of people you could buy to fill that hotel up, okay? And fractional titles you'd actually be buying is a fraction of that, depending on what proportion you owned of that. Let me tell you the problem that you have with fractional units, okay? I've never, in about 12 years being in the business, I've never had anybody come up and say, hey Tom, have you got a fractional unit you can sell me? They just don't buy them that way. It's kind of like time sharing. It's not bought, it's sold to you, okay? And once you buy it, it's very difficult to resell the unit. But it amazes me how many people don't really do the studying up on this, because the resale on fractional units is very similar to time sharing, okay? And I think I've told people the story about my brother bought a time sharing unit back in 1980, bought 2 of them, and he can't sell them today for what he paid for them back in 1980. I mean, that's how bad the rate of return is. Now fractional units, I'm sure the rate of return would be maybe a little bit better, but not a whole lot better, okay? because you would own the title. Time sharing, you basically own a time period of the year. You don't own the actual title itself, is the way most of them are set up. So, you know, you can see why time sharing is so bad, is no one that buys don't even own the title at all, even a portion of it, you know. So this is it's a turnoff thing, and usually it's sold to people that are not high earners, that are real sophisticated with money, and they're usually the ones that on time sharing that shouldn't be buying to begin with, because they don't have much money to begin with. But unfortunately, that's what happens. A lot of times they finance these units, which makes it even worse. But a lot of people end up doing it. And the key is you want to own the whole unit, 100% of the title, okay? Don't let someone talk you into buying fractional units, okay? Now, I have some people, some developers have come up to me. I know one that's big down here. They say, Tom, but with a fractional unit, you can come down and stay in a $4 million house for 2 weeks. And for you to stay in that house, if you owned it, you would have to pay, you know, $4 million instead of a real small fraction of that. Well, that's true. But if you can suck up the idea that you're going to be paying for a costly amount, where you're going to end up losing a lot when you resell that fractional unit, if you can accept that, then hey, if that's an advantage to you, it's not an advantage to me. I don't sleep too good in a place where I know I'm going to lose money. But anyway, if that's the way you think, and that's the only way these developers can truthfully tell you, but that, you know, you would end up maybe happy doing that, because you've got now a $4 million house. You can come down and stay for 2 weeks, and you've paid a small fraction of the $4 million. And true, you don't have to take care of it. They've got a maintenance crew that takes care of it, and you get rental income off of it. But like I said, your capital appreciation, it's not going to be there, okay? And you're going to have to pay a commission when you resell it, so you're going to have to take that in consideration too. I'm trying to give you the basis, and also in St. Kitts, there's no capital gains tax, but you do have a stamp duty when you resell it. The seller pays for that, not the buyer. It used to be, years ago, they had it split up evenly. The buyer paid half, the seller paid half. It's not that way anymore. It's, in fact, I think it used to be back around 2007, maybe, no, 6 or 5, 2005 or 6, right in there. It was right about the time I came. It was actually, I think it was 6 and 6. 6% the buyer pays, 6% the seller paid. But now they switched it back. It's 10% that the seller pays only. And that's if you sell it. Now, if you carry it to death with you, that tax is avoided. You just pass it down. And you're not a U.S. citizen. You're a citizen of St. Kitts. There's no inheritance tax. You just pass it down to your heirs. I think they pay I think there's a charge to transfer that over to the your heir. I think it's 100 U.S. dollars. It's a real small little stamp duty you pay, so almost nothing to transfer it over the title. But these are some things that you really should be thinking about if you're contemplating on looking at a title property where you own 100% of the title versus one that's a fraction. I mean, it's just amazing to me how many people do that. They buy it and they just don't really check it out really good. And there's a lot of, I'll tell you, the ones that really get sucked into it are people that go on these 5-star resorts. They get sucked into the beauty and stuff of the 5-star resort. And, you know, they're thinking, I own a portion of this. But I'm going to tell you, when you resell it, you're going to regret it. And I've told so many people that it's going to be very difficult to your rate of return is not going to be as good as a full unit. And I can tell you almost in every case. So these are some things I would really, really be considering when you're looking at going with a fractional versus a full unit. Your market is just not there, okay? And so, you know, my advice to you too, don't take it from me. go on the internet. You can read up stuff from non-biased parties, and you can find information on this, and I think you will see and come to the same conclusion as far as investment rate of return that I'm right on this. If you want to know more on this, again, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button right on your screen. You get new videos automatically. And I'll look forward to talking to you in the next video. Take care.